All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome in. My name is Alexis Miller, and I'll be your yoga instructor today. I'm here with Yoga for Caregivers. So, this is our weekly stretch session where we focus on getting into our bodies, stretching ourselves out, getting us ready for the rest of our day and the rest of our week. So, as we move through practice today, let's keep in mind our boundaries. Notice, where are you ready to extend into postures? Where do you need to modify and come down to the mat? Or perhaps find a center posture? Also, keep in mind, I don't often cue water. So, if and when you feel thirsty, of course, please feel free to step off your mat, grab that drink, and then join us whenever you feel ready. So, with all that being said, let's go ahead and come into a comfortable position, whether your legs are crossed or straight out in front of you. You can be up on a block like I am. I'm sitting on a prop, but maybe you can also be on a bolster or something else, or you can simply be down on your mat. And we're going to take a moment just to wiggle back and forth as we root into our sits bones. And then we'll sit up nice and tall. We'll inhale as we draw our shoulders forward and up, and then exhale as we drop them back and down. One more time. Inhale as the shoulders come forward and up. Exhale as they drop back and down. Great. Hands come into a comfortable position, whether on your knees, palms up or down, or in your lap. You're welcome to close the eyes if that feels comfortable, or just find an unmoving point and soften your gaze here. What does the felt experience of renewal feel like for you? For me, it includes a good night's rest, being well hydrated, getting a massage, completing a tough workout, taking some long, deep breaths, and taking a vacation. After any one of these activities, I usually feel some sense of renewal in my body or mind. And if I combine all of them within a few days of each other, I sometimes feel like an entirely new person. What I mean by renewal in this instance is a sense of clarity, ease, and connection with who I am and what I want out of life. All of these activities help me clear out the junk that's accumulated in my mind, to resettle into my body, to work with the emotions that I may have been avoiding, and to regulate my nervous system. In doing all of this, I literally resume being in alignment with my true self and my highest values, a state that all of us can aspire to live from. I don't know about you, but I know I can certainly use a renewal like this at least once a month, if not on a daily basis. While taking a vacation isn't always practical, leaning into other practices that support this sense of renewal certainly is. As you move through practice today, I invite you to ponder what practices support you in feeling renewed. Consider how you can incorporate those into your daily life. So, settling in, taking a deep inhale through the nose, filling your belly, lungs, and chest with air. And then slowly exhale the breath back out. Take another deep inhale as you fill your belly, lungs, and chest with air. And then slowly exhale that breath back out. Take another deep inhale, feeling your belly swelling outward, expanding like a balloon. And then exhale that breath out, drawing the belly button in toward the spine. Inhale as you feel your torso expand, your collarbones gently lift. And then exhale as you feel your shoulders release down and away from your ears. Inhaling air in your nose, down your throat, filling the lungs. And then exhale as you squeeze that air out of the lungs, move it up the throat and out the nose. Continue to breathe deeply, inhaling and exhaling with intention. Really noticing the movement of the breath here. If your mind wanders off, gets caught up in thinking or an emotion or a physical sensation, Just notice that you've gone away. That's mindfulness. And then come back to the breath. Come back to focusing on the inhales and exhales. If it feels right for you, perhaps reincorporating a mantra here with the breath. Inhale, I renew. Exhale to realign. Inhale, I renew. Exhale to realign. Remaining here with your breath in whatever way best supports you for just a few more moments today. Take another deep inhale here as you set an intention or a purpose for your practice today, which really can be anything at all, but it often answers the question, why did I get on my mat? Take a nice deep inhale as you feel that intention with the heart and mind. And then exhale the breath out, set the intention off to the side, knowing we'll return to it toward the end of our practice. Lovely. We're going to go ahead and come straight onto the hands and knees. So moving your props out of the way if you have them nearby. Bringing hands beneath shoulders, knees beneath hips, tops of the feet come down onto the floor. We'll inhale, sink the belly, lift the head and the hips coming into cow. And then exhale, lift the back, sink the head and the hips coming into cat. Inhale into cow, sink the belly, feel the decompression in the low spine. Exhale into cat as you press the mat away and feel the shoulder blades separate here. Inhale, feel the belly drop, squeeze the shoulder blades together, feel the pull through the throat. And then exhale into cat, feel the shoulder blades separate, feel the chest and the hips moving toward one another. Great. And then inhale into neutral. On the next inhale, shift your weight into your right hand. Exhale, sweep tall with the left arm, reach toward the sky, tabletop twist. Really rotating over, reaching toward the sky, palm up on the inhale. And then on the exhale, thread the needle, lower that left shoulder to the floor, side of the head comes down to the mat here. So taking a nice deep inhale, feeling that pull through the outside of that left arm. Weight is in the knees and that left shoulder, not in the head here. Feeling a nice twist through the spine. Take a great deep inhale here. Nice deep exhale. Another deep inhale. Another deep exhale. On the next inhale, plant into the right hand and go ahead and sweep that left arm toward the sky. And then sweep it back and down toward the mat. And then inhale, bring it forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, forward and up. And then exhale, hand comes back down onto the mat. Great job here. All right, go ahead and step your hands maybe half a handprint forward. Pick up that left foot, bending at the knee, and then exhale, extend your left foot straight out behind you. Ball of the foot comes onto the floor here. We're going to press into the hands, spike that heel away from the body, coming into a nice calf stretch. So notice if you've got a cow back like I do right now, right? Go ahead, tuck the tailbone. So imagine rotating the hips back and down, engage the core, flatten the back, look down toward the floor. So we have a nice flat back here. Notice how that immediately deepens that stretch in the calf. Notice if the left hip is floating up toward the sky. If it is, close it down so the hip bones are squared with the mat here. Elbows are slightly bent. We're working the biceps and triceps. Just taking a couple deep breaths here. Shoulders shrugged down, soft face. One more deep inhale. Good. Exhale. Bring your hands onto that, or bring your weight onto the hands in that right knee. We're going to kick our right knee out to the right here to like a 90-degree angle. Turn your left heel down. So now it's parallel at the back of your mat. Bring your weight into your right hand beneath the shoulder, and then inhale, sweep tall with the left arm, modified star. So a couple options. You can stay here. If you'd like, we're going to lift that left leg up, bringing it as close to in line with our hip as we can. So we're getting that nice challenge through the outside of the thigh here. So wherever you are, taking just a couple deep breaths, inhaling nice and full, and exhaling. Good. Another deep inhale. Feeling the work here in that hip, opening up the hips. Notice if you're kind of sinking back, press those hip bones forward. Good. Now we're going to up that challenge. Go ahead, sweep that left leg straight out in front of you, right angle pose. We're here for just a couple breaths. If you need to shift that right leg, so now it's back and parallel at the mat, feel free. That left leg is out. We're trying to get it up with the hip. Woo, we're challenging the balance, challenging the hips. Nice deep inhale. Exhale. Last one here. Inhale. Exhale, left foot lowers down, left arm lowers down. So the left leg stays out, but we're squaring our shoulders and our hips with the mat again. And then exhale, sink the hips back onto the right heel. Left leg stays long coming into this child's pose variation. So as we sink back, we're feeling that deep stretch through the back side or through the inside of that left leg. Feels really nice here. We're sinking down toward the floor. Maybe we're on the hands, maybe the forearms. Maybe we're stacking the forearms or fists to rest the head down, or maybe the head rests down onto the mat here. Wherever you are, let's just take a couple nice deep breaths here. Inhaling and exhaling with intention. Feeling that pull. Feeling that lengthening through the spine. One more breath here. Great work. And then inhale, looking up, coming back onto the hands and that knee, and then sweep that left leg straight in front of you. Hands come to either side of that leg. If you'd like, grab one of your props here. If you have blocks, great, or find a steady surface as you come up into neutral. Or, excuse me, strong on that back leg. Left leg is extended. Toes are coming inward. I have one block. It's in my right hand on the high side. We inhale, lengthen through the spine. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Lean with the heart center. Come forward into dragon here. So notice here how we're immediately feeling that deep stretch of the back side of that left leg. Shoulders shrug down, flat back here, pressing forward with the chest. I'm using that block underneath my shoulder for support, option, not requirement. Hands can also be on the hips, on the thigh, on the shin, or down on the mat, just not on the knee joint. We don't want to overextend that all important joint here. Notice if that right hip is sinking toward the back of the mat. And if it is, square the hips. Think about drawing that hip bone so it's parallel with the top of the mat. Now we're feeling that stretch all the way up into the sit bone here. Woo, the agony is real. We're breathing. Stick with it for just another moment or two. Great work. And then inhale, let's go ahead, come forward onto that front foot, step your props out of the way, hands to either side of that front foot, and then go ahead and bring that left knee back so you're in tabletop. And we're gonna sit back onto the heels for just a moment and roll out those wrists. Maybe shake them out if that feels good, roll them if that feels better. Maybe make hands into fists and then extend them again. Just a little release. That is a lot of work on the hands and knees here. So no shame in that game. And then when you feel ready, we're going to come onto the opposite side. So back into tabletop, hands beneath shoulders, knees beneath hips, tops of the feet are on the floor, right? Okay, so planting that left hand here, inhale, sweep tall with the right arm, reach toward the sky, nice opening through the torso, reaching up here. We take a nice deep inhale, and then exhale, we thread the needle, lower that right shoulder to the floor, side of the head comes down to the mat. Now we're feeling that stretch on the opposite side, outside of the right arm. We're feeling that nice pull, that twist through the spine. Just taking a couple nice deep breaths here. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Inhale, plant into that left arm. Exhale, sweep that right arm tall, reach toward the sky. And then a couple arm circles here. Exhale it back and down. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, forward and up. And then exhale, bring that hand back down to the mat. Great work. Hands beneath the shoulders, but we'll step them maybe half a handprint forward. And then on the next inhale, bend the right knee, foot sticks up into the air. And then exhale, extend your right knee straight out behind you, ball of the foot on the mat. Press into the hands, spike that heel away from the body. And check your posture here. So if you have that cow back, tuck the tailbone here, kind of squeezing the glutes together slightly. Core is engaged, shoulders shrugged down, elbows slightly bent. Now we're immediately feeling that deepening of the stretch in that right calf. Notice if this right hip wants to float up to the sky, and see if you can square it down with the mat here. Hip bones in line with the mat. So now we're really getting the deepness of that posture. Just a couple more deep breaths here. One more breath. And then we inhale, come onto the hands and that left knee. Kick the left foot out at a 90-degree angle. Turn your back heel down. Inhale, sweep your right arm tall, modified star. You're welcome to stay here. Or amping it up a little, lift that right leg up, bringing it in line with the hip here. We're working the outside of that leg, feeling that burn. We're challenging our balance and our core stability. Couple nice deep breaths here. Great, you're doing awesome. One more deep breath here, feeling a little bit of a wobbly shake. Great. Amping it up even more. Inhale, sweep that right leg straight out in front of you, that right angle pose here. So we're sticking that leg straight out, trying to get it in line with the hip. Top arm is still up. You might want to bring that left leg so it's back parallel with your mat. Woo! My leg wants to lower down. Just taking a couple more deep breaths here. Try not to lock out that bottom joint. Another deep breath here. Inhale. Exhale, top foot comes down to the mat. Bring that right hand down, squaring shoulders and hips with the mat. Right leg stays long. And then exhale, we sink back into that modified child's pose here. So the right leg is still out, so we feel that nice deep stretch to the inside of the right leg. You can remain on the hands, come onto the forearms, or lower your head down onto your fists, onto your forearms, or onto the mat here. And just taking a couple deep breaths as we really feel into this lovely stretch to the inside of the right leg, that opening here. Breathing deeply. One more deep breath. Great. On the next inhale, go ahead, come on up onto the hands and knees, and then sweep that right leg straight out in front of you here. You may want to grab a block. and come on up, excuse me, into neutral. So we're strong on that left leg here. That right leg is straight out in front of us. We're pulling the toes in toward the shins. I have a block in my left hand on the high side. We inhale as we lengthen through the spine. Exhale as we hinge through the hips. Lean with the heart center forward into our dragon posture, opposite side. So as we come into this posture, we're feeling that pull through the back of the right leg this time. Toes are moving in. My block is beneath my shoulder. I'm using it for support. If you don't have that, you can use a steady surface by you. Hands can also be on the hips, on the thigh, on the shin, or even down on the mat. Really noticing what feels right for you here. And then notice if that left hip is floating toward the back of the mat, see if you can square it with the top of the mat here. Woo! So we feel the fire through the back of that leg. Let's just take a couple more deep breaths here together. Great work. On the next inhale, come forward onto that front foot. Move that block out of the way, but keep it nearby. You may need it in a moment. And then shift your right knee back here. And then we're actually going to tuck our toes under, and we're going to bring our hips or heels about hip width distance apart, and then sink back onto our hips here. So welcome into Japanese T-pose. A few options. We want to make sure all of the little piggies are tucked under, so making any adjustments here that you need. Now, you're welcome to sit up nice and tall and lean back if that is too much sensation right away. You can also use a block on any one of its sides, bringing it between the legs and kind of sitting back onto it like it's a chair, okay? Couple options for you here. Notice what is right for you. Now, as you come into this posture, you may be like, Alexis, my feet are on fire. This is okay. And as long as you don't feel like you're in pain where you're breaking something, which can be very nuanced here, we want to sit with this, right? This is an intense stretch. We don't often stretch out our feet, and yet we spend so much time on our feet. It's literally how most of us get from one room to another, let alone all around our lives. So we're stretching out all those ligaments, all of those little muscles in the feet here that do so much to serve us. So finding a nice position here for the shoulders, shrugging them down, hands are on the lap, maybe together or on the thighs. And let's just take two nice deep breaths here, inhaling nice and full. And exhaling nice and full. Inhaling nice and full. Exhale, release. You did it. Great work. Hands come down onto the mat, untuck the toes. Let's go ahead and tap out the tops of the feet here, releasing those feet and toes, maybe rolling the ankles in one direction and then in the other. Great work. And then we're actually going to make our way down onto our back for final relaxation. We will not sit up for the rest of our practice. So if you need to grab a towel off, grab a drink, put on socks or a jacket for final relaxation, now is your moment. We will not sit up for the rest of practice. So coming on down onto your back, let's tuck the knees into the chest, wrap the arms around ourselves, give ourselves a little squeeze, maybe rock from side to side, little roly-poly action if that feels good. This can always be a nice lower and upper back massage, kind of just rolling and squeezing things out here. I think it helps with a little bit of your lymphatic drainage as well. And then we'll go ahead and come into stillness, prepare for final relaxation. So drop the soles of the feet down to the floor, knees are up in little mountains. Now you're welcome to stay right here. This is a great option. If you'd like, soles of the feet can come together, knees can fall out wide, recline, bound angle. And you can always take your blocks and place those underneath the knees at any height to support that opening here. You're welcome to extend one leg and keep the other leg in for fallen tree. You can extend both legs, kicking over your block here for traditional final relaxation. And if laying flat is difficult for the back and the hips, go ahead and pop a rolled up towel, a pillow, blocks, a bolster underneath the thighs here. That'll lift the legs slightly and help release that strain in that middle section of the body. You're welcome to bring your hands wherever feels most comfortable for you. I love having my arms wide, armpits wide open. Feels so nice, so good for the shoulders and the back. You're also welcome to lay on your side or your belly if that's more comfortable, or you can just return to a seated position and treat this final part of practice like a seated meditation. It's totally up to you, whatever feels best. I welcome you to take a few moments and just settle in, making whatever adjustments you need. And as you do, begin to notice your breath. Notice how fast or slow your breath is moving, how deep or shallow it is. Notice the quality of each breath on your inhales and the quality of each breath on your exhales. Feel into the gentle rise and fall of your belly, the gentle rise and fall of your chest. Noticing as that air moves in and out of your nose, up and down your throat. Breathing. If the mind wanders off on a thinking adventure, simply notice the moment you've gone away. That's mindfulness. And then come back to the breath, back to the inhales and exhales. If it makes sense for you, perhaps incorporating that mantra we use at the beginning of practice here. Inhale, I renew. Exhale to realign. Inhale, I renew. Exhale to realign. Remaining here with your breath in whatever way best supports you for just a few more moments today. I'm going to get quiet for this final part of practice so you can have it to yourself. Please know that I'm watching the time and I respect yours, and I will let you out of this posture before the end of practice. So lean back, let go, just rest right here. It isn't easy to listen so deeply that you understand everything another person is trying to tell you, but every one of us can cultivate this capacity. Bringing your attention back to this space, taking a deep inhale through the nose, filling your belly, lungs, and chest with air, and then slowly exhaling that breath back out. Take another deep inhale as you begin to wiggle the fingers and toes. Move the arms and legs, gently waking your body up. And when it feels right for you, gently rolling onto one side, pausing there with an arm or a hand beneath the head. It's here that I invite you to bring back to mind your intention or your purpose that you set at the beginning of your practice that answered the question, why did I get on my mat? Take a nice deep inhale here as you make your way on up into a seated position, and we close out our practice together today. So coming into a comfortable seat, rooting into your sits bones, sitting up nice and tall. We inhale to draw the shoulders forward and up. Exhale, drop them back and down. Bring your hands into a comfortable position, whether on the knees, in the lap, or at heart center, closing the eyes if you'd like. We take a moment to express gratitude for yet another lovely day here on earth and for our bodies that allow us to do so many things, including yoga. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you through this practice today. It was a joy and an honor, and I hope to be able to do so again in the future. The light in me, it sees the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for this weekly stretch session with Yoga for Caregivers. Again, my name is Alexis. I'm here every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern, so mark your calendars, set your alarms. You can find Yoga for Caregivers on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So make sure to subscribe, like, share with any caregivers that you know, and make sure to check out the other resources available through yoga instructors and other practitioners like me. So thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a delightful rest of your week, and I look forward to seeing you in the next practice. I'll see you next time. Bye.